Hello, everyone. Uncle Marv here with another episode of the IT Business Podcast. This is our second live show of 2023. I think that this year is going to be fantastic. Last year was great for me. I hope it was good for you. And we're going to find out if it was good for our guest tonight, Lisa Shorr with Shorr Success is on, and we're going to talk about all things that you need to do for your MSP to put your best foot forward, your best image forward in 2023. We're also going to talk about some other tech news. There are some announcements that are happening in the channel. So we are going to talk about all of that stuff. But first, let you know that this is the IT Business Podcast. It is presented to you by NetAlly. NetAlly is your number one ally for networking support in the channel. They have a whole slew of handheld networking tools that will help you design, diagnose, troubleshoot, do just about anything that you need to do with wired and Wi-Fi networks, better, smarter, and faster, the big tagline of the show. Tonight's live broadcast is brought to you by Computers Done Right. They are a managed service provider in Southwest Florida. They are on the other coast of Florida. And not only do they do that, they also can help you with marketing and websites and a whole bunch of other stuff. So reach out to our sponsors, NetAlly and Computers Done Right. And that takes care of our money part of the show. Let me go ahead and bring my guest on, and then we'll get into some news stuff here. And you've seen her before. Well, you heard her, I should say, on episode 451. Why do our clients hire us? And she is Lisa Shorr from Shorr Success. Lisa, how are you?
Hey there. I'm so excited to be back. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks for coming back. A lot of times, people are like, maybe, maybe not. But thank you for coming back on the show.
My pleasure.
So let me go ahead and ask, how's 2023 started for you?
It's great. I have a brand new, Shorr Success-wise, I have a brand new 6-month client that I just signed on. Oh. I've had some great meetings. I had a great prospect meeting today that asked for a proposal. So that's amazing. I'm going to be speaking at Channel Pro, their SMB forum coming up. So they've asked me, I'm going to be doing 3 of their 4 SMB forums. So I should say it's really shaping out, and I'm with you. How can I definitely discount that? I am with you.
It's party time.
Woo, woo.
We missed out on that IT Nation show. I was supposed to head up there with you, but I had a project that came up and couldn't do that. So we'll have to find some way to get together again later this year. Although I'm not sure if I ever fly or drive through Rhode Island.
Come in the summertime. You're in Florida. You do not need to be. I mean, Rhode Island and New England is lovely, but it's cold right now. It's in the 30s.
It's cold.
There's no need. There's no need. Well, Florida 50. Cold is what, 60?
It was 50 degrees when I woke up this morning.
That is chilly. That's chilly. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of sympathy, but not a lot. So
and here's the kicker. So this weekend, Saturday night, it's going to get down to 45 degrees.
That's crazy. That's not normal. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that means if you're 45, then that means we're going to be 0. So come in the summertime. New England is beautiful. Narragansett, Rhode Island is a beach town that is absolutely stunning. The ocean, the sand is fabulous. So now maybe I shouldn't be in IT. Maybe I should just be a travel agent.
I was going to say, why don't you start putting up the next ad for your Chamber of Commerce there?
You too can be a travel agent. So no, but it's beautiful. So come in the summer. Let me know when you're coming.
We will do that. Well, let me ask you this, because not only do you do Shorr Success, but you're also part of a managed service company.
Sure am.
Secure Future. Let me make sure I get this right. Secure Future Tech, right?
Yep. Secure Future Tech Solutions. It is a long name.
Your clients messed that up?
They did. Actually, they did. So we did when we rebranded. So Secure Future Tech is this year, as of in July, will be 31 years old. Our MSP. My husband Eric founded the business, and he met me. We were a blind date 6 years into him growing Secure Future Tech. But at the time, we were PC troubleshooters, but it was fine. for a while, because if you remember back in the day, that's pretty much all we did as IT providers. We
Back then, yeah.
Right? It was like, very basic networks. We fixed PCs. So the name was great. But then when managed services came along, well, we had to do some work and change it. So,
right.
yeah.
Well, I wrote down a quick thing to get back to that blind date, but let's do some news real quick. I don't know if you saw these stories. I just picked them up today. Microsoft 365 Basic is going to offer 100 gigs of storage and more perks. And apparently this is now set to launch later in January. And Microsoft is going to be rolling out this new, less expensive subscription option. And it is going to include the productivity apps, 100 gigs of cloud storage, ad-free, and secure mail with Outlook, and access to support experts for help with 365 and Windows 11. So this new Microsoft 365 Basic is scheduled to become available January 30th at a cost of $2 a month or $20 for an annual subscription. So it sounds pretty interesting. Did you read that?
I didn't see the story yet, but I can guarantee you I'll look for it and have a conversation with my team. But I'm wondering, does that impact all the stuff we went through, the NCE nightmare we went through this year? Did they talk about that? Like, does that? So I can't really comment yet on this news but now I'm curious, and I'm curious to see if all the work that we've done with the NCE, if does it impact it? Does it say anything about that?
There's nothing about NCE, which of course Microsoft is probably like, yeah, what do we care? You're going to pay it. So now, how much 365 is your company selling?
Oh, almost exclusive. Yeah,
okay.
So much of it. So yeah, it's one of our primary products. So.
And did you delay the migration of some clients to NCE that ended up getting migrated automatically in December?
No. When the whole process rolled out and they gave us a deadline date, we took action immediately. So we had to make phone calls to clients, give them the option. Do you want the subscription? Do you want? No, we took action. It was so much work.
Yes.
And so, no, we're very proactive. I have, thankfully, staff in place that really took the bull by the horns and was able to get the job done. But it was a nightmare to make phone calls and make shifts, changes and shifts on the back end. And
it was
we didn't wait. We did it right away.
So I gave my customers the option, and some of them we rolled out and migrated early. Others we did later. And some they were like, whatever happens, happens. So I said, fine, I'll just leave you as you are. And then magically you'll switch. And as long as you pay, I'm not going to worry about it. Now, I actually have a hybrid model when it comes to 365. About 50% of my clients I'm reselling as a CSP. And then the other half, I'm a reseller through AppRiver. So AppRiver takes care of all the billing for those clients. Are you guys selling 365?
Yeah, we're it. Yep, we're 100%. We manage the whole process. We buy licenses through Ingram, and then we do all the management, the deployment, all of
So Ingram, you know what? I'll save that rant for another day. I just had because I get 365 licenses through them. We're going to migrate those over to 365, but I have a Adobe license issue with them that we'll talk about it at a later date. Now, here's another story that came out today. The PC market collapsed during the fourth quarter of 2022. Now, I'm going to see if you can guess this. It was reported that PC units fell by blank percent. Care to guess what that number is?
I have no idea whatsoever. I'll just throw a number out there just for the sake of it. I'll say 40%.
Wow, that's a huge number, but it wasn't quite that bad.
Oh, good.
It was 28.1%. And that, let's see. Gartner says that that was the largest drop ever from one quarter to the next. And that was since they started covering PCs in the mid 90s.
Mm.
And they blamed a perfect storm of pandemic related issues, the anticipation of a global recession, increased inflation, and higher interest rates have had a major impact on PC demand. Now, I don't know if I believe that 100%. I do believe it to some degree.
I think there are so many options for devices, and like our clients are all over the place with
Yes.
devices.
Yep.
They don't want to be beholden to a PC anymore. They don't want to be, so they're getting data. I mean, on my desk alone, I've got an iPad, a laptop, my phone. Like I can get data wherever I want now. Like,
yeah.
So I'm thinking I definitely think that there is a cost and in an economic result to that, thinking about what's going on in our economy and all that. But I also just think that it's the shift of where we're seeing things. We're cloud-based, we're mobile, whatever, mobile friendly, everything friendly.
Yep. And
Don't you think?
with the movement of everything to the cloud that you can
Right.
do from a tablet, my medical office. So we just had a conversation on Monday because there's only 30 of them in the office, but they have 100 devices connected to their Wi-Fi.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
And there's a big chunk of them, almost 50 of them are iPads, along with their other devices. And then they have the guest network. They've got the medical advertising boards but yeah, mostly what they're doing is going to the iPads.
They're mostly, yeah, right. Every doctor visit, whether it's my eye doctor or whatever, they have the new docking station, the mobile little station there, and they put their iPad right on it, or a laptop, or whatever it is, Surface, whatever they're using, and it's all done right there. So I'm not surprised.
That'll be interesting. I'm going to save this, and our good friend Jay McBain from Canales is going to be on the show later this month. So I'm going to ask him about that. Although I'm going to drill him about his little vacation he just took.
Yeah.
It was, what was it, 15 days or wherever? So
it's amazing. That's amazing. It's wonderful. Yeah, you should definitely maybe again travel, right? I'm telling everyone to come to New England. Didn't Jay and Michelle go to Europe, or where were they? Where they traveled?
Yeah, they did a whole European vacation in January.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So see there, you can add a segment. IT folks, come travel. You work so hard, you need to play too.
All right. So let's quickly do a real quick recap. Now, I did tell people you were on the show back on 451. Not that it was ages ago, but it's a few shows ago, last year. And so, and the title was, Why Do Our Clients Hire Us? And you explained, the whole idea of understanding sympathy and empathy and, the image of the MSP. So what do you think that a good thing to remember from that show is that people who haven't listened would need to know?
My biggest takeaway, and this is really something that I'm going to continue to hit home for 2023, is people buy based on feeling. It's the feeling that we're going to protect them. It's the feeling that we're going to make them more productive. It's the feeling that you're going to understand my business's needs and goals, and you are the right fit for me. It's not necessarily the products and services. Now, I'm not at all discounting that. It's critical because products and services are certainly half of our really, what makes us who we are. But what keeps clients? What keeps them renewing contracts? What makes them referral or raving fans, referral partners? It's because not just the owner of the company, but the entire team makes their clients feel that they are, part of their team, that they have their interests in mind. So it's a feeling. It's that feeling of empathy, that you understand their pain, that they have your clients have clients that are breathing down their neck and have issues. It's the emotion of, hey, let's talk about how do we handle these difficult conversations, the emotional intelligence side of things. And so when we are able to respond in a way that is empathetic and caring, a quick example is I was out to dinner tonight before this podcast, and I said to my server, I said, hey, I just got here for dinner. I just want to let you know I have a podcast to record and I need to be home by 7:45. If that's okay with you, can you just keep that in mind and just keep coming over to us to provide us quick service versus just lingering tonight? And she was amazing. She met me where I was. She asked about the podcast. She was wonderful. And I told her the name of the podcast and everything. So, and she was wonderful. She was right in line. And that's what our clients want. They want someone who is right in line. They're not expecting always to have the answer right away, but they want to feel that you are going to bat for them, that you are going to figure it out and meet them where they are. And so 2023, everybody, let's think about our clients hire us based on feeling. And there's ways that we can demonstrate that feeling, not just with our actions and, closing tickets and all of that, but our tone of voice. My server kept coming over today and saying, is everything okay? Do you have what you need? Let me know when you want the check, in a voice that showed me she got my urgency. And I wasn't mean or anything. I wasn't like, I got to get out of here. But I just said calmly, I'm like, just to let you know, we're only going to order the meal tonight, no dessert. So when we're done with the meal, if you could bring a check, that would be amazing. And the whole time she was so attentive. And so that's what we need to equate our service to our clients. It comes in the form of our voice. It comes in the form of our eye contact. It comes in the form of even dressing the part, looking clean cut, and like you care about the brand that you work for or own, as well as being on premise at client sites and you care about their brand and showing up looking like you respect that too. So there's a lot of factors involved, but it's feeling. That's my mission for 2023.
All right. So before I talk about what my takeaway from that podcast was, I'm going to ask, this sounds like it's a place that you eat at on the regular?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And is this a server that has served you before?
Nope.
Oh,
I've never met her. It's a local restaurant right in my town. I've never met her before, and she was amazing. I'm so thankful. I'm happy to be able to talk about her and talk. I don't even know her name. I didn't get her name. I should have. But
if she might listen just to see, is this lady for real?
She'll recognize my face for sure. So
now, something that you said about the way she was attentive to you, because one of the things that when we eat out, and I'll just be honest, I don't eat out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fancy. I'm not a foodie. But when we do eat out, I do pay attention to the way that the wait staff tends to us.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of them, they're just walking by. I know they're busy. I know they got to get stuff done. But if they walk by and they're like, how are things? And they're like halfway away from the table before they wait for the answer, that's a little annoying.
It's not genuine.
So the fact that she would ask you, do you have everything you need?
Yep.
Don't hear that very often out of wait staff.
No, absolutely. So I just came back from one more story and then I know we can go on, but I just came back from a family wedding in Dallas, Texas last weekend and had a wonderful time with the family. The wedding was beautiful, all of that. Twice we went out to dinner because one went to breakfast once and then we went to dinner once with the family. And it was the strangest service at two very different restaurants that I've ever seen. First of all, they didn't even bring the meals at the same time. Like, it's okay if you bring, half the table because the rest of the meals don't fit on the tray, but within a couple of minutes, the balance of the meals should be coming out at the same time.
Right.
But my sister-in-law was literally almost done with her meal before mine was even delivered. And nobody said, I'm sorry. Nobody said, I'm so sorry. There's a delay in the kitchen. Your meal is coming. I'm aware of it. At least give us some expectation of what was happening. We had little kids my little nephews were at the table. Two of them were like the last one served.
Oh,
They should be the first one served.
yes.
They were wondering where their meals were. They wanted their French fries, and they weren't even served. And it was both restaurants. And I was like, what is going on? It's strange. So yeah, it's spotty. It's spotty, but we're losing touch, I feel like, with customer service and really understanding. I think Southwest might be I haven't read all about Southwest, but that certainly begs the case for all of us IT folks out there. You're not upgrading your IT. Look what happens.
Well, so, okay, we're putting the outline aside. So I had a conversation with a client today.
Yeah.
Where we talked about that. This is a client that they're frustrated because I'm telling them that we may drop them as a client because they're unwilling to upgrade. So we're coming up to where 2012 server is going to be end of life this October. Okay. Still got time for that. But they still have a big chunk of Windows 7 machine.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And then they're asking me to help them with their cyber security insurance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't.
Nope.
I cannot.
You become a liability at that point. So the liability then goes on your shoulders because you're the IT provider. And when we had a client just like that, Marvin, and it was, they got hacked. They had a whole bunch of Windows 7 servers, no matter how hard we worked to sell them new systems. Now they got hacked. They decided to not pay the ransom and they just moved. They ended up now upgrading all of their computers and spending a huge chunk of money when they could have done it in increments over the years that we have been talking to them.
Right.
But they become, at that point, you don't need that liability on your shoulders. It's not fair to you. It's just not fair.
That's what I told them, because, and the reason is I'm there doing some stuff. It was minor stuff, nothing major, but I could hear, and this is the business owner and another staff person talking, and they're just griping about Southwest and all of this stuff. And I'm like, okay, what if your clients were doing that about you?
Right.
And they said, well, why would they? I said, okay, but you've got half of these machines that they're not patched, they're not updated. And if they start to crash, and I said, when you guys can't work, how much do you call me bitching and moaning that you've got to be up and running?
Right. Right.
And they're like, okay, I sort of get it. You can't sort of get it. You either get it or you don't.
And when they get denied cyber insurance, maybe that will be the deciding factor, because there's no way they're either going to, if they even get a policy at all, if it's going to be so high because they don't have the protection in place. They don't have the security in place that they need to have. They have to have it.
Yeah. It's another podcast coming on that topic later as well.
That'll be a good one.
We just had a scare with a renewal that was about to be denied. And the rates have gone up, folks. It is not going to be cheap. If this is the first time you or your clients are applying for cyber insurance, don't expect to pay what those of us that have had it have paid. It is going to be high.
Thousands. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
oh, yeah.
All right. You got me. Hang on. I need it.
This should be an alcoholic beverage versus water in here, don't you think?
We have shows like that. I just didn't plan on it tonight. So one other thing that I wanted to say that I took away from that episode is you talked about the exit interview and the surveys that you guys do.
Yeah.
And so many times we, and I say we collectively, don't listen to why clients leave us. And I don't have a ton of clients, and everybody that has known me for a while, I'm a boutique managed service provider. I have 19 clients. I'm a solo tech. I do have 5 subcontractors. I don't have a full-time tech, although we're looking at getting one soon. And I do that for a reason, because that's what I can manage myself. When I'm ready to grow, I will grow. Yep. Now, I've had techs in the past. I tried to grow too fast. I was stupid. And so I redid everything. But we don't lose clients often. But when we do, I know exactly why. And sometimes we fire them. Sometimes I'm going to say we've been fired once. And it was more because they didn't feel like they were getting the attention that they deserved.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually agree with them because they were one of those clients that they were needy,
Yeah.
but they didn't want to pay to
Mhm.
match what their neediness required. And so I was happy to be fired by them.
Yeah.
actually.
It comes to a point. Yeah.
And then we just actually got an email today. We have another client that is going to be ramping down their business within 6 months. And they're not old enough to retire,
Mm-hmm.
but they're wealthy enough to retire.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. And they've been a good client for many years, never complained about the bill. You know, it's one of those clients that when they call, you're happy to pick up the phone.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Love
And,
that. We have several clients like that. Absolutely.
yeah. So that was something that I think was a big
It
takeaway.
is a big. First, I want to quickly say that you were not stupid to ramp up, thinking you were ramping up too quickly. I don't think business owners take enough risks and try things to see if it's the right fit for them. I think a lot of, and I'm summarizing here. So everybody, I'm summarizing. I know it's not everybody, but many IT professionals get into IT because they just love fixing. And then they realize, oh, I can make money off of this. So now they're making money off of it. But then they don't realize how to strategically grow and build your business. And we actually, whoever is listening here, I'm going to be at Channel Pro in next month at their SMB forum in Dallas. And my segment, we're doing like a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire session. And it's talking about, I actually wrote the title down. What are the secrets to becoming a $1 million MSP and then reaching $3 million and beyond? So we're going to do it, give you steps, strategies, what to look for to build your MSP. So I commend you, Marvin, for taking that risk and for exploring having employees. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And is it right for me? And if it's not at that time, then you scale back. But so it wasn't stupid. I think it was.
Well, I just say it in the sense that I thought good times were rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And so we could hire, so we did. And then as things started to shift, I got frustrated with the technicians. That was part of it. And then I found that I can do as much remote without them as I could with them. So that's what I ended up doing. So
that there's a shift. Absolutely. The remote support really affords us much better efficiency and productivity for sure. So, but yeah, but eventually you'll want more employees. You've got the subcontractors, which is great. And eventually, if you get to that point where you grow even more, you're going to have to give that level of service. You'll need the support. So
we're there. And being able to have a tech on staff that I can send at the drop of a hat, as opposed to waiting to see if a subcontractor is available.
Right.
And then making sure that the subcontractor does what I want them to do, not what they want to do.
It's a big deal. Yeah.
Having a conversation with the subcontractor about, no, my client, my call.
Right.
So interesting stuff. So let's kind of get focused here on 2023 and talk about what are some things that you have kind of mapped out as things that MSPs should be doing to, fix the image or put the best foot forward.
Well, I'll start talking first about Secure Future Tech and mapping out how we grow. So Secure Future Tech is, there's 24 of us on staff, and we're a $4 million MSP, and we have goals set. So one of the things that is really important for 2023, everybody, and if you haven't done it yet, is to really set some goals, not pie in the sky goals, but really look at gross revenue goals, profitability goals, growing your MRR. So those three right there are key strategies that my MSP sets every year. Every year, we look to see where our growth is. And so that's number one. So that's really And that's year agnostic. It doesn't matter what year you're in, but once you set those annual goals, you can then work backwards quarterly in the simple math, divide it by 4 if you want, if you have a gross revenue goal. But really it's thinking about how much new MRR, how do I want to grow my MRR for this year? And how does that look? So that's number one, because once you have those goals set, everything else, all the activities should align with achieving those goals. So if you're doing MRR, then I know you and I had a brief conversation. My degree and my forte is also marketing. And so what are we doing? So for us, we're honing in on a couple of areas. We have a couple of target markets that we really know well and we like to call ourselves becoming the experts, the celebrity experts in those industries. And one of them is property management. And that has really grown immensely for us for multiple reasons. One, we not only do their IT, but we also specialize in video surveillance. So we protect them physically as well as their network. And then we just signed on with a cloud-based product called Brevo. And Brevo does access. I don't know all about it, but I know it does. I was looking at our app earlier today because it gives you cloud-based access control. It also connects the surveillance cameras if they're network cameras, to Brevo, so you can view your cameras, you can view your, the locks and change the passwords and all of that, the passcodes to get in the door. It's pretty amazing. So that's one area that is a real growth opportunity for us. And then the other is in the legal community. And our first client was a lawyer. Eric needed an office. They needed some technology. And so they traded 31 years ago. And that's our humble beginnings at Secure Future Tech. And since then, we love working with lawyers. And so I know, believe it. Can you believe it? But yes.
70% of my revenue comes from law firms. So I get it.
Yeah. So there you go. You know what? They need technology. They're billable people. How do they become billable people? How can they be productive if they don't have software to quickly enter their time, to access documents wherever they are? And so it's a real win-win when you think about it. So that's what we have mapped out for Secure Future Tech, really honing in on 2 verticals, focusing on the goals we have set, the growth goals that we have set, and really how we're going to get there. So we're looking at trade shows already. We are already looking at sponsorships for this property management industry. Has different associations. So we're looking at sponsoring some of those associations and really getting ourselves in front of those industries and those people. So that's
okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask this, because I promise it won't get technical.
Nope.
But are you doing the audio-visual stuff, the video stuff as a service, or are you just putting yourself in position to manage the installation because it's going to touch your network?
It's a great question. And we haven't really done video surveillance as a service yet. And I'm surprised we haven't really done that. That's really a question for Eric as to how you create video surveillance as a service. We do service the cameras once we've installed them, but we're not necessarily having our clients pay us monthly. That's more billable service time.
Okay.
So so it's not, that's a good question. It's a great question, because I think going forward, maybe another growth opportunity is figuring out the as a service model for the cameras. And it's not even a hardware as a service either. Like, we've had clients who are all in hardware as a service, where we own the computers, the firewalls, the whole thing, and then they just pay us a monthly fee, which we technically could probably do, but frankly speaking, we're not doing it yet.
Yeah, I asked that because I've done a few of those with a client, 2 clients, and we're toying with the idea. They're like, listen, why don't we just pay you? So then when something goes wrong, you just do it like you do with our computers. Because, when one camera goes down and I got to price out the camera and price out the cost, they're like, well, okay, and they want to get to the point where they're like, look, we just want it to be part of the monthly. We don't want to think about it.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
you can fix it. So that's why I asked you that question.
Yep. I'll have to pick your brain later on that one. So
Okay.
what you're doing, when you figure it out, let me know your model and how you make a profit off of it. And then yeah, we can talk. So.
Right. So and then you're also doing the access control. So you're doing that as well.
Yeah, that's we've been doing that for like I think 3 or 4 years now. And we started with the physical access, but now with Brevo, it's all cloud-based. It's pretty cool stuff. So I, recommend everybody. I'm not at all getting paid for this or anything, but we're fascinated by what we're learning with Brevo. And it so far has been, we always test everything in our office first. We never install at a client site until we know all the glitches. And it's great because we have a good amount of employees that are all testing it out. We have 13 technicians. And so it's great that we can get their perspective, whether it's quirky or great to use or, oh my God, this is a terrible product. And so it's really been great. And so far, knock on wood.
And if it can break, Tex will break it.
You're right. They know how. So you're right.
All right. So goals and what's next?
So that's the secure future tech side. On the Shorr Success side, this almost really the same. So keep expanding my target audience for Shorr Success. Are two. One is you guys, the MSP community, and why you guys. I know you best. I live, eat, sleep, breathe MSP. I just happen to have some very unique skills in this industry that many other people and consultants don't have. So, and that's the ability to teach image and branding and personal branding and coach to that, being very aware of the needs of the IT community. So that's my goal there, is to really grow Shorr Success in this industry, bring on more clients, more speaking engagements. I'm redoing my website right now because it really needs to support my growth. It's not done yet. I will definitely send a link when it's done, but it'll be more focused in the IT world and small business community. So
I mean, that new green blazer that you've got showing up isn't.
It's gonna be a different look. So yeah, but I still probably will use that picture in the website somewhere, just not the home page. So yep.
Up there, folks, and let me throw the site up there just so that you have it there. ShorrSuccess.com.
Yeah.
Shorr spelled with 2 R's.
My calendar link is right there, everybody. If you want to book a meeting, have a chat with me about image and branding for your MSP, let me know.
All right. So, okay. So those are the big things there. Let me go back and ask you this, because when we talked last, you had brought up the fact that you guys had to re-image your company.
Yeah.
So back when you were PC troubleshooters, back when you lost a pretty hefty client, we talked about that a little bit, but I wanted to kind of dig your brain into what was that process really like to re-image, because it wasn't just the name change. It wasn't just the transition from break fix to managed services. What were some of the key things that you can, publicly tell us that you guys did to re-image?
I don't have a problem sharing quite a bit, because if it helps other MSPs grow, evolve, and become stronger, that's my mission in life. It's really my mission is to create a paradigm shift from thinking that tech skills are all we need to grow our IT businesses, to really knowing it's those interpersonal skills, those people skills, soft skills are really essential too. So I don't mind sharing. Let me quickly share so to start that, we were PC troubleshooters. One ex-client called us PC troublemakers at one point. And then another client fired us because he said, every time I call you, you act as if you have no idea who I am. So it had nothing to do with wonderfully certified technicians, that they all were, because it's a requirement in my IT company that, you keep up certifications and all of that. But it had everything to do with our communication. and our lack of. And so we were also a third thing that really prompted the name change is we would work trade shows and our name PC Troubleshooters. And at the time, we were actually early adopters of cloud solutions and managed services. And we've been doing that for a long, but nobody knew it because our name didn't reflect it. Oh, I thought you just fixed PCs. No, we actually can manage your network. We can monitor, look at, the health of your hard drive, firewall, what have you. You can, but I already called that IT company because I thought you guys just fixed PCs. So we were throwing money out the window, thousands of dollars. And I don't know, can anybody relate to that? Put it in the comments. Can you relate to that? Are you experiencing that now? So we needed to make a change. So here's the steps. Do you mind if I just share
Sure.
the steps I took?
Yep, go right ahead.
Number one is we started with our name change. We did start there. And I did a focus group and I brought in clients. I brought in a coach like myself because I was too emotionally involved. I was part of the process, but I needed somebody else outside of the organization to lead it because my husband Eric and I were way too emotionally charged about it.
Yes.
And Eric more so than me. I married the business. So I've been around 24 years, but Eric is the founder. So he was very attached to the name and to how we've always done it. And so we needed to bring in an outside person to really help and facilitate to keep it on the cool, so to speak. And then we brought in key clients and we asked, tell me what you think about us. When you think PC Troubleshooters and you think of our service, what do you think of? And we had Post-it notes all over our glass windows, literally all over our glass windows. And after a few sessions, we brought in all of our entire team. So we did one session with clients, one session with our team, because our team needed to have buy-in also. And we really value what our team had to say. So through about a month-long process, we came up with Secure Future Tech Solutions because overarching, almost every single client we asked said security, that you secure us. Someone happened to say, oh, you're securing us for the future. And I wrote down future. I'm like, oh, that's a good one. And we, but we give to technology solutions. So through narrowing down. So that was number one. Then we went from there. I looked at our team. I physically looked at our team and I said, we don't look uniform. We're going on site. We're wearing street sneakers. We're wearing pants that are frayed. Not everyone was wearing a logo. We had some logo shirts, but it wasn't mandatory. So we had discussions. I had several discussions with the team as a group on our new uniforms, the blue shirts. We had blue shirts, navy shirts with the logo on it. We had fleece jackets made up. We have baseball hats now made up. So there's the uniform. And everybody knows every day, except for one day in the month, that last Friday of the month, they can wear jeans. Other than that, it's khaki pants or whatever, black pants, khaki pants, whatever, unless you're climbing on a ladder doing a camera install. So then I really started honing in our communication and talking to the team about how we're all leaders. Everybody in the company really should view themselves as a leader, but it starts from the founder. It started from Eric and myself. How did we view? What was our behavior? Because the behavior is going to be duplicated by your team. It's going to be mirrored. And if Eric and I weren't thinking about how we were presenting, for me, I've always presented myself this way. I mean, there's pictures of me in 6th grade with matching outfits. So it was a no-brainer that I was going to dress up. But really thinking about what was Eric wearing? How was Eric presenting himself? And then we had a couple of other key members of our team who we also started to say, okay, you are a leader here. This is how you need to dress now. And how we meet together and communicate. We have discussions about difficult conversations, tone of voice. So we took a while. I mean, this is not an overnight thing. And truthfully, everybody, to this day, I still do staff meetings and we still do trainings. I still do phone skills trainings. We talk about the power of a script and really understanding how to handle phone calls that come in, and that you need to vary your voice. You can't just be happy all the time. Or when I work with a lot of MSPs, they almost every single company has said to me, I'm just grabbing the phone because I'm so busy, or I'm in the middle of a project and that phone rings. I'm just going to grab it and be quick. So they say IT department or what, they don't take stock. That's not going to set the tone. And that's, you already have a client or a prospect who has a problem, who has an issue. It's our job to soften that, to make them feel heard and understood. Remember, there's that word feeling again.
Right.
So it's so critical. And we weren't making ourselves culturally feel good about each other, nor were we making clients feel good. So we had to do a complete shift, and it took time. So I hope people took nuggets away from that and thought about, taking stock of your own MSP. What does it look like? What does it sound like? And how are you making clients feel? And you mentioned surveys. That's one of the ways that we are able to really discern our clients happy or not. So that's one of our methods to make sure that we're consistent. And it's wonderful having surveys, because now when we don't get all 5s on our survey, which are the best scores for us, then we're able to ask questions. If it may be a 4 on one thing, or if I'm seeing consistent 4s, we were seeing consistent 4s on our surveys on our response time question. And so then I was able to listen to some calls, and I was listening and hearing that we weren't actually setting any expectations of when the client was going to get a call back. So if a call comes in, we create the ticket. We have over 130 clients. I mean, we have to set expectations. We're definitely going to get to them, but we decided we would say within an hour. We'll call you back. We'll have an engineer call you back within an hour. And now at least we were setting expectations. Oftentimes clients create in their own mind what the expectation is.
Yeah.
Right. And they want it now. They want it. My computer's down. I need this file. I can't figure this out. I want now. But most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, if we set expectations, then we honor it and we live up to it, then usually they're pretty happy with the service they're receiving. And we did see those 4s change to 5s. And I was very happy to see that.
All right. So it sounds like you guys have a whole set of KPIs that you manage.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. So that's good. It's also good when the clients are empathetic back. And when you're open and honest with them about stuff. So I had a new client that was going to be a co-managed situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we were working with the tech, and basically it was just a few hours a month. He would call us when he needed us. We resold them 365 licenses. He died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Suddenly. And it wasn't expected. It wasn't, an accident or murder or anything like that, but it was, he got sick, never came out of the hospital.
Oh.
And so we had to do a lot of adjusting with that customer. And it was right before the holidays. And I remember we had a couple of projects that were coming up, and I have a subcontractor that's close to them that we were able to do some coverage and all of that. But I forget what happened, but I think the day that I found out was the day that they needed me to get over there right away. And we had an appointment, and I had to have Kim call them and say, Marvin can't come today. It wasn't a major project, but it was like, does he need to be there? He can come later, that sort of thing. And she told him what happened. And so I was at the client last week.
Yep.
And, I'm just head down, getting stuff done. And the owner of the business came over to me and said, hey, how's that client that, that person died? How are you guys doing with them? And it was like, it was odd because this owner doesn't really talk to me when I'm there. But the fact that he came over to me and asked, hey, how you doing?
How's it going? How are you doing? Yeah.
And how's the other client doing? Most clients don't care about other clients.
That's beautiful. That shows that that leader has empathy. And I would venture to say he probably treats his team the same way as well.
Well, it was funny because, I mean, I didn't really want to say too much of this, but we were talking and he goes, "Look, I just wanted you to know, we pay attention." He goes, "We love what you do for us. You always take care of us. And I just want to make sure that, you're okay and that, we're okay." It was a weird conversation, but it was a good conversation.
Right.
It was just out of the blue.
Maybe he was thinking that you were going to go work for that other company because now their IT person is no longer.
Well, I don't think.
Are they going to have to? And it is this guy going to have the guy you were chatting with going to have to make a change. So maybe he was kind of like feeling out the territory to see.
No, we've had those conversations. That wasn't the case, and he knows I've got coverage, and he knows that. I've had techs to cover, and we'll be hiring full time, and he knows all that. So he knows they're not going anywhere for a while. They're a good client.
That's good. Good.
It's a good conversation.
That is, empathy is key. It's really important to be able to have relationships.
Now, do you, in your talks, speeches, coaching, all of that, how much of your customer experiences do you share, or are you allowed to share? Like, I'm sure you've got to hear and see all of the other MSPs in their, dirty laundry per se. Do you ever get to use any of them as examples and, talk about how you changed an MSP or how an MSP, redid their image and stuff like that?
I just don't share names.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I just don't share names. Yes, I mean, that's what really sells, and that's what makes us relatable, is when we are able to share client or local business stories that align with them and who they are. And I have had clients that I've worked with who rebranded, changed their name, and have for the better, because their name originally was a pet name. They had a dog and it was a cute little name, but it really didn't reflect who they were. So I did for them what my outside consultant did with me to help change their name and evolve. And so I did that. And now it's understandable who they are, that they are an IT company. A lot of people pick out names for their businesses, for example, because they love their pet, or they love, or they're local or something, and that's fine. But if it doesn't, take it from my example, PC Troubleshooters was great in the beginning, was great. But then when cloud-based everything happened, PC Troubleshooters outdated itself. So at some point we had to, so that's a client that I worked with that for sure needed the support there. I've worked with clients who have lost their own clients because of phone skills and needed to really create scripts and have some coaching on what their voice needs to sound like, using the scripts, how to handle a hot lead. And so there have been several clients hire me because they have lost clients. And that's really probably the biggest reason I get hired.
All right. I just wanted to ask that, but I didn't want to, call anybody out and have you.
No, I'll never share names. I'll never share. If I share a story, it's not a name, but I can certainly share the essence of the story. Absolutely.
All right. You've not had anybody with a monkey change their name, have you?
No. With a monkey, owning a monkey, or their monkey in their name, because I know monkey is a huge password that people use. But
monkey password?
Oh my God, we see so many clients with the word monkey as their password. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know why, but yes, they should.
All right. Lisa Shorr, Shorr Success and Secure Future Tech. How many years? 24?
24. I've been in the IT world for 24 years, but Secure Future Tech this year, 31 years. 31. Amazing.
And looky here, a comment from the chat.
You can relate, Diana. Yay. I'm so glad.
Yep. and changing the company name from an animal.
Diana, we need to toast to our water cups or coffee or something. I toast you. So
All right. Well, it's that time of the show. Are you ready?
I'm
I'm
ready.
going to come up with a little jingle
A jingle.
for Florida Man.
Oh, yes.
And this is the Florida Man Challenge. Do you want to challenge Florida Man, or would you rather answer a random question?
I'll challenge your Florida man.
All right.
I don't know if it's going to be as interesting, but relatable to IT people. How about that? So go ahead.
Oh, that
Let's
might
hear
be
it.
better. That might be better. All right. So I have 2 stories.
2?
1 and 2. Yeah. And I'll let you choose number 1 or number 2.
All right.
Pick a number.
2.
2. The number 2 story is: man swiped nearly 200 pairs of panties from Dolphin Mall Victoria's Secret.
What? Why?
In Sweetwater, Florida, 48-year-old man was accused of being a serial panty thief. According to the arrest report, Carlos Angel Ramirez Rodriguez stole thousands of dollars worth of merchandise from Victoria's Secret stores at the Dolphin Mall in Sweetwater and the International Mall in Doral. These are both South Florida cities.
Okay.
These thefts reportedly date back to March of 2022 and continued until his arrest last week. So he, in one instance, he removed 197 pair of Victoria's Secret panties and 1 Victoria's Secret's fragrance.
Can't make this stuff up, Marvin. Can't make this stuff up.
Gotta smell good.
I don't even know what to say about that. So
And just so that people know the title of the other story: Florida man beats another man with bricks for not sharing crack pipe.
I'm glad I picked 2 and not 1. I am glad I picked. I know, maybe I'm not glad I picked 2 and not. I don't even know.
All right, what's your Florida man challenge story?
Well, my Florida man challenge is very small law firm in Rhode Island. Although has 2 different IT providers. One IT provider provides regular IT services, but he's a small shop. So our company provides just firewall services to this particular law firm. And so he already invests in cybersecurity solutions. However, he got the pop-up window. And the pop-up window said, "You are infected. Call this number." So instead of calling one of 2 IT providers that this lawyer knows and is already paying for cyber services and security services, called the number. Called the number, and 20 minutes into the conversation realized, I think I should have called my IT provider.
Yeah.
That's my story, and sticking to it.
Wow.
Let him in, let the hacker into the network. I don't really know the end result. I probably should have found that out for this, but
I was going to ask.
the most important piece is he got in.
I was going to say, did he allow remote access?
Allowed remote access, did the whole process, allowed the hacker in, allowed him in. After all, hiring and putting security in place, still clicked on the pop-up window that said, "Your computer's infected. Call me. Call me."
I'm going to have your husband on to ask some technical questions, because right now I'm thinking, so most of our clients, we have actually started to block all of the remote access programs. And today, one of them had to call me because they were doing a remote support with their line of business application. And they were trying to use, which one were they trying to use? I forget which one it was. Well, we ended up opening up TeamViewer because we actually blocked all of that at the firewall now, so that only our software, and then they have one product that we allow in, and all of the others, the log me ins, the team viewer, go to my PC, we block them all.
Mhm.
Just so that somebody can't say, hey, go here and log in.
Right. And not make the mistake. So I tell you, I don't know what the other IT, we just do firewall service for this company, this law firm. The other company does the rest of their security. And I'm sure Eric will have an answer to this question, but I don't know. All I know is you just, after all of that, you're still clicking and you're still calling. You're calling the number. You have no idea the number. You have no idea the person. Call your IT provider.
Yeah.
So I just thought maybe I would make other people feel better knowing that our clients too, no matter how much training we do webinars, we train, they still click. So, and Eric, you can definitely have Eric on one day. So for sure, Eric will do it.
I'll have to give him a call. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the IT Business Podcast. Folks, if you have not listened to the show before, this is your first time, head over to itbusinesspodcast.com. That is where all of the past shows are there, both audio and visual, that you can always see. We try to stream every Wednesday here on YouTube and the Facebook. Sometimes we'll be on Twitch, sometimes we'll be on LinkedIn. It depends on what the topic is, but always come and enjoy a live show when you can. Last week, we had on Akarsh Vinod, and we talked about his Indiegogo campaign where he created and built these wireless speakers that are truly multi-room. And I did buy 3 of them. We talked about that last week. So if you've not heard that show or watched the video, go back. That's episode 465. Merry New Year, the first of the show, the first of the year. Next week, I'm going to have a brand new guest on for the first time. We're going to have a lot of those this year. I have on Mike Mosier with Cinch IT. They are a national, well, I can say that. I hope they're national because I just made it. They're big. They're big. They are a very large MSP called Cinch IT. So that is going to be next week's show. I did mention a couple of other stuff. Bradley Gross is going to be on later this month. Jay McBain is going to be on later this month. We are starting out this year with a bang. So that's going to do it, folks, for this show. Lisa, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved it. Thank you for the conversation. And hey, everybody out there, thank you. Happy, healthy New Year.
Happy New Year to everybody. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. But until then, holla. And we're out. All right, audio portion is over. Let me stop this from going there. And let me throw this comment up here. So Diana Giles, the reason she put that, yes, she can relate, is she changed her company name from the Computer Monkey to Skyline IT Management.
Much better.
So very similar to what you said about people looking at the name and thinking, are you really going to be able to do my network security and my 365? You're just the Computer Monkey.
Right. So much. And then people just don't realize. And then you get attached. I meant to say the word attached. Thinking of it now. People get attached to names. They get attached to the way they do things. They get attached to names. And it becomes an emotional process to change a name. It's a very emotional process. And I hope I got a little bit of that across to the listeners, that it gets very emotional. And that's why we hired an outside person. I could have done it, but I would have screamed at at Eric probably more than everybody else, but I wouldn't have gone well. So you need to take
I'm doing that myself. So this is year number 26.
Wow.
And when I picked the name MB Systems, I did it with the 5-year. You can, in Florida, you can do I forget what the fictitious name. that
Okay.
is your business name. Even though I did incorporate quite early, I did that with a 5-year thing, thinking that, well, at the end of the 5 years, I'll have a nice new name. It'll be more professional. I thought I'd have a store
Right.
back then. And 26 years later, never changed the name. Although I've got a new web girl
Mm,
and we're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And part of that process is looking at the logos and the names and all of that. So I'm
yeah.
trepidatiously open for a name change. I don't know what we'll do. We
Well,
may keep the name, but
what I would do, what I really recommend you do is I would ask you, you have 19 clients. So I would just send an email to each one, like, create an email, but send it to them. You can either do it in a focus group form or just send them an email and say, hey, I'm really doing some strategic marketing this year. And I'm wondering, when you think of MB Systems, what do you think of? And ask them to just say, can you share 3 descriptive words of how you view MB Systems?
yeah.
Or how we make you feel. And you're going to see words like secure, responsive, whatever, you know what I mean? And you can ask them that question, and then also ask them, what do you think? And do you have ideas of our name? Do you like our company name? Just flat out. What do you think of our company? When you think MB Systems, does the name align with who we are? And
Yep.
ask those questions. It's the nice thing is that you have a manageable group of people you can actually ask, and will most likely respond to you because you have that relationship. So, and let them start the process of helping you instead of you kind of racking your brain by yourself. Really start with the most important people. That's your clients. So,
Well, we've thought about that. And I have had one person over all the years, when they found out that I go by the name Uncle Marv, they were like, well, why didn't you name it Uncle Marv's IT whatever? And I'm like,
I
no.
don't think so. I like MB better. I think Uncle Marv really makes you sound, in my, marketing experience, it really makes you sound like a solopreneur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't give you that prestige.
Right. It's not like Uncle Al's, restaurant or, Mike.
You don't want that. That's not, and it also just, it makes you sound like basic IT.
Yeah.
So MB Systems, I like the word systems because that absolutely aligns with technology. It automatically tells me, oh, systems. Well, what kind of system? And then it begs the question, like for us, people say, how can you secure our future? But for you, you can say, what systems are you building, or what systems are you talking about? And then you can go in and talk about, well, it's networking systems and technology systems and cybersecurity systems. And that's really, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
So
I think the reason we've not done it is because on my logo and on that I have MB Systems, and underneath it, the tagline is network support. So they've pretty
you might
much
not need to.
So a lot of times we'll get checks written out to MB Systems network support.
Well, if they cash, they cash. Good. But you might not need to change your name. But wouldn't it be nice to at least do a check-in?
Yeah.
And confirm it. I'm working with a new web designer, and we're talking about, making sure that our name is right, the logo and all that. I wanted to get your opinion. I value your opinion. Say something like, I value your opinion. That's how I invited my clients to come in and do a focus. We did a focus group in our conference room.
I was going to say, they actually came to you.
Yep. Yeah. This is before COVID. I mean, this is back 2013.
Okay.
2013, 14, somewhere around there. We had a conference room. I fed them lunch, and I had my consultant come in, and we all had a powwow around the table with Post-it notes, just like I explained. And we said, when you think of PC troubleshooters, what do you think of? And we were very honest with saying, I think we're at the point where we want to change our name, and we need to come up with a new one. But we value your opinion. Share with us what it is. Can you share with us your thoughts? And they did. It was really wonderful. It was enlightening. And then we did the same thing with our employees, because if I didn't have buy-in from them, and from clients, I would have had more dissension. I wouldn't have. So I'm trying to bridge the gap and build my culture to where it used to be, and then we lost it, and then we got it back again. So it's constant. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to share insights and stuff. I'm so thankful for the marketing here. That
here's the side question, and this has nothing to do with that, except for the fact that if these are clients and you brought them in all together, did they get a kick out of meeting other clients of yours, and did they like question each other?
They loved it. It gave us validity. It gave us, like we just had for Christmas, we did for our holiday party this year, we rented out a theater and did Avatar before it was actually screened. We did a pre-screening on the 15th of Avatar, the new one. And then we did it as an employee and client event. So our clients got to meet each other. I love when our clients meet each other. Love it. Love, love, love. Because it just shows that we're experienced. It shows that we have especially if it's lawyers with lawyers, property managers with property managers, it gives us that street cred we need.
Right.
So having a client appreciation events and lunch and learns and things like that is wonderful. It's wonderful.
So that was a holiday party at a theater. I saw pictures. So you did the Avatar viewing. Did you partner with vendors? Because I thought I saw a ConnectWise logo up there.
You absolutely did. 100%. One of the most amazing opportunities, Marvin, and I don't know if you're taking advantage of it or not, but it certainly will help supplement your marketing, is almost all vendors, I'm not going to say all because I don't know, but most vendors have what's called MDF funding, marketing development funds. And so that's one of the things I have been very cognizant of for forever. SonicWall, we started with SonicWall we've been SonicWall partners for like 15 years. And I used to get all kinds of stuff covered. Lunch and learns. We did a dinner at Capitol Grill one night and they supplemented it. They gave us, I don't know, 2,000, whatever, what we had clients come, SonicWall spoke, and then they gave us a couple thousand toward the bill. You know what I mean? It's like, so there's a lot there. And so ConnectWise helped to support the event. So yeah.
Yeah.
If you ask for it, they'll give it.
Yeah. MDF funds is huge. I know a lot of them are probably a little more willing to do it now because they haven't spent a ton of money over the last 3 years with COVID. So as they come back out and do the conferences, they're thinking, okay, we've had a ton of conferences. Maybe we'll just do some local stuff. So I'm talking with a couple of my vendors now that we're going to do a couple of those here.
Oh my, it's amazing. Do like a cybersecurity lunch and learn and have whoever your vendors are. I don't know who, like from us, like Kaseya is one, Kaseya, Datto, like Kaseya has funds, ConnectWise has funds. I mean, there are companies that will have funds. You have to make relationships with the people and then fill out forms. There's legwork involved. It's not just, hey, give me 2,000. Here's my invoice. There's legwork involved. You have to sometimes show the guest lists. You have to sometimes, and for this event, ConnectWise actually flew somebody in. Actually didn't fly them in. There was somebody within our region. So they drove in and talked and did a 10-minute talk on I shared a cybersecurity story to our audience. And so I'll share 10 minutes, 15 minutes of our time if you're going to help pay for the event so that I could allow alcohol and I could provide food. And so we could have a whole conversation about that. Marketing, people get scared about spending money on marketing, but how about supplement?
Well, marketing is becoming a word we can say on this show again. We'll have to tell you off air what happened with that, but no marketing.
Still live? Like, are people seeing our conversation?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
we'll go ahead and end off here. Nobody's. It's probably Giles and 2 other people that will never.
Put in the comments who's still listening. I didn't even realize we were still. I thought you turned off the recording.
I turned off the audio and I leave the live show. I told you that. It's in the notes.
Hope I didn't say anything. No, I didn't.
We
Just
can
kidding.
name drop some vendors. It's all right. I
Oh
didn't
no,
say
that's okay. I don't mind. Give them shout outs, right? They're amazing vendors.
Yep.
And they're
Hello.
supportive of the MSP community.
Yep. Hello, App River, Defendify. Talked to them recently.
I
App
love it.
River's trying to do something with me down here. That'll work.
Mm-hmm.
And had
Awesome.
a HPE conference a couple of weeks ago. Oh, Joe Panone, I got your money. Thank you. Got a nice Venmo check
Oh,
from them. Sweet. And oh, sorry, just reading my email. Hey, you know what's awesome? I'm at a client's place, and they're not really my client. I sub for another
Mhm.
company, but she is like, we're never ever doing anything without Marvin. So even if they fly somebody in from New York or whatever, I have to go. And she looked at me and she goes, "Have you raised your rates yet?"
Have you? When's the last time?
So we raise our rates every year,
Oh, good. Okay.
but she always complains that mine are not high enough because they're not what their tech company charges
Mm.
in New York. And I said, okay, well, New York is a different economic structure than Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She goes, I know, but you're worth more than that. All right. Yes.
See,
the rates-
that's my premise with Shorr Success. Having a relationship like that, because you make them feel like they're important. You make them feel. So who is this? Many ahoy.
Yeah, that's somebody I'm not gonna pitch that one.
Yeah.
See, you asked to see who was watching.
Yep.
There you go.
You never know. So
Well, so those of
there's a
you,
lot of opportunity, everybody out there. There's opportunity to grow your businesses, to evolve, to change, to come with the times. And you know, our industry, there's amazing vendors. Our vendors are wonderful. They really are. You just have to take the time to cultivate the relationship with them. But they want to see you grow. The more that we grow, the more they grow, the
yes,
stronger they become. So why not leverage relationships? But that again begs the conversation of, are you a polished person? Do you sound, look, and behave in a way that fosters a great relationship?
yeah. All right. With that, and because we now have trolls in one of the chats, those of you on YouTube and the Facebook, thank you. You've been courteous and kind. This other troll will ignore, but that's going to do it. So we're going to end off this portion here. Lisa, hang on just a second. And we'll end off here. Say goodnight.
Good night.
Later, folks.
Happy New Year.